Today, we are going to compare the iPhone 16 Pro versus the Fujifilm X-T50. To determine whether a smartphone or a dedicated camera is the right investment for you, we need to analyze how the 16 Pro and the X-T50 perform in real-world situations. This comparison is going to focus on the image quality, their usability, and who they are for. The iPhone 16 Pro has a 48 megapixel sensor that can shoot in 4K up to 120 frames per second, and it can shoot in Apple log. It weighs 199 grams and it comes with fixed lenses with multiple focal lengths. It has a huge display for viewing your shot and it starts at $999 US. The X-T50 has a 40 megapixel sensor that can shoot in 4K up to 60 frames per second, or 6K up to 30. It can shoot in F-Log and it weighs almost 438 grams with the battery and media. So more than double the weight than the iPhone, and that's without a lens. It comes as an interchangeable lens camera. It has the Fujifilm simulations and it starts at $1,399 US. That's body only. By the way, if you like the film simulations out of the Fujifilm X-T50, I created 5 LUTs for the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro that will emulate 5 of my favorite film simulations. I'll leave a link to those LUTs in the description. If you're curious on how these cameras will perform in your editing workflows, I've created a free project file pack for you to download with both cameras with a range of footage. It includes various frame rates and resolutions along with some photography shots. This way you can edit your images as you follow along. I'll leave a link to that project pack in the description. Neither company is sponsoring this video. This video doesn't even have a sponsor. I bought the iPhone 16 Pro with my own money, and I rented the Fujifilm X-T50 from Lens Rentals with my own money. Neither company sent me the cameras. I'll leave links to all of the gear that I used to produce this video in the description. The question I have going into this comparison is which one of these two cameras are a viable option for someone who intends to grow with their camera. Let's start off with a little challenge. Can you tell the difference between these two shots? Today, we will be comparing how both cameras react to skin tones in an uncontrolled lighting environment while leaving both cameras in auto white balance. We're going to shoot with both cameras in their standard color profiles along with their log profiles. We'll do some interior church shots where we're going to be at the mercy of the Lord and the interior lighting that is provided to us. We're going to check out their autofocus capabilities while doing some overhead product shots. We're going to go into a sports stadium before the big game and see how both cameras react to that LED floodlight that is on the ceilings of most stadiums. Then we'll go outside and we'll do some beautiful morning golden hour shots to see how both cameras blue and golds interpolate to that final image. We're gonna do some green screen work as if you were on a budget and you couldn't outsource your green screen production. Then we're gonna jump into the photography realm, do some street photography and branding photography for those of you who run digital media companies and you don't wanna hire an expensive photographer. Then we'll do some vlogging to see the framing, the skin tones, and listen to their audio using the native mics out of both cameras. All right. We have a lot to cover and look at, and I'd love for you to tell me which one of these two cameras you like better and why. And that's what we will be tackling today on the Film Alliance. You are good if you looked at both of those shots at the beginning of the video, and you could correctly name which camera was which. I'll continue to add both of the comparisons and full screens throughout this video, so you have a good idea of their image quality and differences, and in case you didn't know which one was which at the beginning of the video. If by the end of this video you're still undecided about which camera you should purchase, I made 2 free quizzes on which camera or lens is best for you. The quiz will ask you specific questions and based on your answers funnel you to the camera or lens that best suits your needs. The lenses that I used on the Fujifilm X-T50 for these side-by-side comparisons are as follows. I used the Fujifilm 23mm f2 as an all-around lens, the Fujifilm X-Mount 16-50mm f2.8 to 4.8, the TT Artisans 25mm f2, which is a manual lens, and the Viltrox 13mm f1.4 as my wide lens. For a couple of the shots, I downloaded the Final Cut camera app and the Blackmagic camera app for more exposure control with the iPhone 16 Pro. All right, let's jump into their form factor and look at them side by side. There's a big difference in size and form factor between the X-T50 and the iPhone 16 Pro. I love the form factor of the 16 Pro, but sometimes I need something more for photos and videos in my hand, like a dedicated camera. That's where the Fujifilm X-T50 came in for me. It's a real camera with an APS-C sensor and it has that traditional feel. I like that it has all of these physical dials and buttons because I'm more of a tactile user, and once you get to know your camera and you memorize where everything is, you can play it like an instrument. I can change settings super fast without having to fiddle with the touchscreen or jumping into the menu like I have to do with my iPhone. The 16 Pro is definitely sleek and it slips right into my pocket, which is perfect for everyday use. But if we're being real, sometimes you just want that camera in your hands, which will force you to go out and create more than if you have your phone in your hand. Also, no security guard has ever questioned me if I'm out filming with my iPhone. But when I go out with a dedicated camera, rarely do I ever come home with nothing. That might happen with my phone. I might go out, totally forget that I even have this in my pocket, and then come home empty-handed. Of course, the X-T50 is bigger than the iPhone, especially when a lens is on it. It's still pretty compact for a mirrorless camera. You could always add your camera strap to it and then just wrap it around your shoulder or your neck instead of bringing a bag, but I like to put my cameras in bags. Another benefit to the X-T50 is I can swap lenses out depending on what I'm shooting, something that you can't do with the phone. Freewell makes a lens kit for the iPhone 16 Pro, but I prefer keeping the phone in its native form factor. The X-T50 is way easier to grip than my phone. I'm always worried that my phone's gonna slip out of my hand, especially if I don't have a case on it or a pop socket on it, something like that. But that all adds to the form factor and makes it bigger in size. The iPhone's menu is much simpler, but it doesn't give you nearly as many options to play with like the X-T50. The X-T50's menu system takes a little bit getting used to, but it's not as bad as some of the cameras that I've used in the past. One of the best things for me about the X-T50 when I compare it to the 16 Pro is that you can swap in and out the battery and the memory. That's not the case with the iPhone. You're gonna have to find a power source in order to charge that battery. And if I run out of storage with my phone, then I'm out of luck, whereas I can swap in and out the memory cards with the X-T50. Also, the X-T50 has the film simulations dial on the top of the camera, so I can quickly toggle between the different looks that I'm going for. When I'm using those LUTs that I created for the iPhone, I do have to dive into the Blackmagic camera app in order to switch those LUTs around. With the X-T50, I can do it on the fly. The iPhone is a total lifesaver for anyone who's just starting out with video. It's so simple. You can pick it up and literally go outside and start shooting with it right away, even if you've never touched a camera before. The only time it gets a bit tricky is if you want to dive into some of the fancy stuff like Apple Log. The X-T50 will take a bit of time for you to get comfortable with, especially with its buttons and dials, the menu system, and all of its functionality. But the control that you will eventually have over your creative workflow will be very nice. You could easily grow into your X-T50. I'm not so sure you could do that with your phone. There's a certain limitation that you're gonna get to with your phone before you're gonna have to upgrade. Also, I found myself using the tilt screen a lot on the X-T50 when I'm at those low angle type of shots. Whereas if I was trying to get those low angle shots with my phone, I'd have to crank my neck all different ways to try to see it. So that little flip screen that's on the X-T50 is really nice. Now it doesn't fully articulate, but it does tilt up and down, which is a huge bonus. Another thing that I found extremely helpful while I was out in the field filming with both of these cameras was the amount of customization that you could give to all of the buttons on the outside of the camera. So I could quickly toggle between different exposures, focus settings, frame rates and resolution, film simulations, whatever it might be, without having to jump into the menu system. It makes the native camera app inside of the iPhone feel very basic in comparison. But here's the thing, you're gonna need a basic understanding of exposure to really unlock the X-T50's full potential. Even in auto mode, it may give you a better looking shot than the iPhone, but in a lot of cases, people say my iPhone looks better than my camera and I can't figure out why. And for that, I would say it's better to learn how to use your camera and the exposure triangle and also lighting in order to maximize what your camera will produce compared to your iPhone. So it will take a little bit of time and effort and experimentation with the settings inside of your X-T50 to achieve the better results, but you will get there eventually. Like I mentioned, it's an interchangeable lens camera. While I was out filming, I was able to interchange 4 different lenses, which was a huge plus for me because I was able to have more creative freedom for the different types of shots that I would get. I wasn't stuck with the fixed lens like I get with the iPhone. Even though it has different focal lengths and you could zoom in and out, it's pretty much a digital zoom and you're gonna start to sacrifice that image quality. When you use a zoom lens on a dedicated camera, the lens itself physically moves to magnify the image. It's like using a magnifying glass. You're gonna get a closer view without losing any detail. On the other hand, when you zoom with your smartphone, it's all done digitally. The phone isn't actually getting closer to the subject, it's just enlarging a smaller portion of the image. This is like cropping a photo. You make it bigger, but you lose quality and detail in the process. So a dedicated camera lens will give you true optical zoom, while smartphones use a digital zoom, which can make your images look blurry or pixelated, especially when you zoom in a lot. I noticed this to be the case quite a bit, and so it forced me to use the 1x camera on the iPhone 16 Pro to ensure that I didn't lose any image quality. The 16 Pro can shoot in 4K up to 120, and the X-T50 can shoot in 4K up to 60 frames per second, or 6K up to 30 frames per second. Both cameras have built-in stabilization, but the iPhone just blows the X-T50 away. I'll go as far as to say when I turned all of the stabilization on the X-T50 and I was walking with the camera, the footage was close to unusable. So maybe the stabilization will be better for people who are doing photography, but if you're doing video, I would highly recommend you pick up a gimbal. Now let's talk about their pricing and some things to think about when it comes to budgeting. The iPhone 16 Pro starts at $999 US for the 128GB model, and in contrast, the Fujifilm X-T50 body itself costs $1,399 US. Factor in a 16 to 50mm lens for an extra $499, and an SD card and some spare batteries, and you're approaching that $2,000 mark. However, the image quality will be superior in certain situations. For the iPhone, you're gonna wanna pick up a case and a screen protector, and if you're shooting an Apple log, you're gonna wanna pick up an external SSD for that extra storage, because you're going to blow through that storage quickly if you're shooting an Apple log. The 256GB model is $1,099 US, and the 512GB model is $1,299 US. I would still recommend picking up an external SSD if you plan on shooting an Apple log. This narrows the price gap closer and closer, but the Fujifilm X-T50 remains significantly more expensive. Now factor in some extra lenses for your X-T50 and you're gonna be closer to that $3,000 mark. But the Fujifilm X-mount lens lineup is amazing. By the way, if you're not already subscribed and you like videos like this one where we compare different cameras, make sure to join the Film Alliance by subscribing. The Fujifilm X-T50 is primarily marketed towards beginners who want a compact and stylish camera with excellent image quality and ease of use. It offers a blend of retro design, its user-friendly features, and its advanced video capabilities like 4K and 6K recording. It's also got semi-fast autofocus, making it ideal for those who want to step up their game from something like a smartphone to an actual dedicated camera. The iPhone 16 Pro is more for people who are on the go and in a hurry. It's with you anyways, and the camera in the phone is very capable. Choosing between the 16 Pro and the Fujifilm X-T50 ultimately comes down to your individual needs and priorities. The iPhone 16 Pro offers incredible convenience and portability, making it ideal for everyday photography and videography. Its advanced computational photography features and impressive video capabilities make it a powerful tool for content creators who are on the go. However, the Fujifilm X-T50 provides a more traditional camera experience with interchangeable lenses like we talked about, superior image quality in certain situations, and greater creative control. Its compact size and user-friendly interface makes it a great option for beginners. Consider your budget, your desired level of control, and specific shooting requirements when making your decision. If you value portability and ease of use above all else, then go with the 16 Pro. However, if you prioritize image quality, creative flexibility, and the ability to grow with your photography skills and your video skills, then the Fujifilm X-T50 may be your better investment. Both cameras offer exceptional performance and features, which will ensure you're capturing stunning images and videos regardless of your choice. If you're still unsure about which camera is right for you, don't forget to check out that free camera quiz that I created and the course, Which Camera Should I Buy? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the Film Alliance for more tips on content creation. Until next time, keep creating. One of the most asked questions that I receive is, which camera should I buy? I know that you want to make the right decision, and it's a big decision. You want to find the camera that best suits your needs and stays within your budget. Many of you know which camera might be for you, but you need some guidance pinpointing it and feeling confident in your decision. That's why I made this course. I want to put my camera experience and knowledge into a compact and easy to follow format. I jam-packed it with camera buying fundamentals that I guarantee you will carry through the rest of your camera journey. I based this entire course on all the things that I wish I had known or someone had told me when I first started out. From understanding different camera types and their features to matching them with your specific video and photography needs, this course covers it all. After finishing, I'm confident that you'll finally have clarity over every angle and aspect that you might consider when buying a camera. I'll guide you through my entire camera buying process, taking you 90% of the way there. That way you'll be well prepared to make your decision. This is essentially all the guidance that I would give my own brother if he asked me, "Hey Joe, which camera should I buy?" Now I'm going to share that insight with you.